Mike Bond here in Houston with Mirsad Bektic, who meets Dan Ige Saturday night at UFC 247. Mirsad, welcome back. I know, long breaks between fights are nothing new to you, but for this one, was that intentional given the result of the last fight, or is this just kind of the way things shaked out getting you back here now?
Yeah, well, it's great to be back first and foremost. It's great to see you guys, see everybody here. To answer your question, it wasn't so much that I purposely wanted to this layoff coming off my fight with Emmett. We were ready to go in November. We were ready to go in December. We thought we were going to go in January for sure. But there was one thing that we really didn't want to do going to fight was we didn't want to go overseas. So UFC had options for me to go overseas in November, December, but we were pretty adamant about staying in the United States, and as soon as we got an offer for the US, we took it, and now we're here in Houston.
Yeah, why the not wanting to go overseas?
Just because I've been overseas plenty of times. I've done my share for the company. There's travel that goes into it. There is finances on my part that I have to go out of pocket to pay for expenses to go there, not just for one coach, but two other coaches. So it just didn't make sense from a taxpayer's perspective.
Right.
And, I want to be in the States. I'm American, and I have family here that love to come to my fights, and it just made sense for me.
Yeah. And I know there's always for fighters adjustments, win or lose, but coming off that one in particular, did you do anything different in terms of training or anything like that?
Yeah, I did a lot of things differently, but I think what I did most differently was I worked a lot smarter, and in some people's eyes a lot less.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Was that a problem? Maybe overworking in the past?
Definitely. That's probably why fans and promotions haven't seen me in action as quite as much, is because of injuries and my own ego getting the better of me and overworking, and yeah.
How do you know when to make that change? Like, is there something that just clicked? Was there a piece of advice maybe someone gave you? What led to these changes?
Well, a lot of injuries led to these changes. To answer your question, a lot of injuries led to these changes, and longevity, right? We want to think about longevity. We want to think about sustainability. How will I be as a man at 60 years old and outside of this sport? So that really hit home, and it's tough, right? Because as a competitor, as a top competitor, and I'm competitive in everything I do. I gotta put my ego down and I feel great to do 2 more rounds, or my partner got the best of me the last round, I should do another one. Well, it's like, no, you know what? I'm gonna take a step back, try again next time, so we don't get second chances in fights, and that's how I approach training, right? So I was very effective in my training. I have an hour. I'm gonna be most effective in that hour. I'm not there 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, making it a 3-hour practice. Just a lot of injuries, a lot of aches, coming in tired in fight week and things like that definitely made the difference and made room for improvement.
Yeah, people have been high on you for such a long time, and we see your potential and everything. And do you feel like that's part of the issue? You haven't been able to get in there as consistently and show what you're actually capable of because maybe these injuries are slowing you down and infrequent fights and stuff like that. Definitely
infrequent fights. As you said, I've had a lot of spotlight since I started out my career. Since 2014, since I signed with the UFC, the best guys in the world, at American Top Team, Mike Brown, all these guys, just George Masvidal, guys like St. Pierre now, they're very big on me. And as a young athlete, a hungry, ambitious immigrant, I can put a lot of pressure on you to perform every day. Well, every day is not a title fight, and unfortunately, I think that's why I've gotten injured a lot, because I'm so competitive and I approach a lot of days like this is my title fight, and if I had a great day the day before, I gotta meet that or even better. So I just my perspective on training and my perspective on competitions is much different now than in the past.
Yeah, and you made clear you want to fight stateside for this one. What do you think when they gave you the opponent? Do you think Dan is a good matchup for you here?
I think Dan is a phenomenal matchup for me. Yeah, as soon as I heard about him, or as an offer, we took it. I've heard about him here and there before that specific date. You know, just somebody that was just around. I've seen him in pictures with, like, you know, Khabib and these guys. So, who's this guy? And, you know, checked him out a little bit. And yeah, as soon as I find out about him, checked out his style, love it. I think it's yeah, I love the style, stylistical matchup, and I'm very excited to go out there and just showcase, you know, the Mirsad everybody knows.
Yeah, when you smirk there, do you mean like you like his style in terms of you like watching him, or you like, you know, how his style matches up with yours?
I like how his style matches up with mine.
Feels like you're, you know, got something that you're not telling us here.
Well, I mean, I think if you watch the fights, you can see. If you watch both of our fights, you can, you know, pick for yourself.
Right. Fair enough. I was going to ask you about 2020 goals, but I think, you know, I'm assuming after this one you want to fight in Lincoln.
Lincoln, yeah, it's in April, I believe, right? Lincoln, Nebraska is in April. So the first thing is first is win this fight, walk out healthy, not so much outcome orientated, but more just feel good. And if it makes sense, I'd love to perform in my hometown. You know, I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska. We have the best, you know, some of the world's best athletes there. Jordan Burroughs, I've trained with him quite a bit. Terrence Crawford, I grew up with him, trained with him. So, yeah, I mean, I belong there. And, I mean, I don't want to steal Anthony Smith's main event, you know, but if I fight, I think I have to get the main event.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, we'll see it, obviously.
We can fight for it, too.
He'll be here this week, so maybe you can talk about him face-to-face. Yeah.
Well, I've known Anthony, too, so we've seen each other quite a bit in the gym, and, you know, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, some drama there potentially on the horizon. Well, first of all, it goes down Saturday night.
We're friends. Yeah, it goes down Saturday night, February 8th.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much for the time. Good seeing you again. Appreciate it.